but Bo Nix and that Denver team are not going to struggle this year. I think they easily win a spot into the playoffs. This might even be the year that Kansas City doesn't win the division. How we doing, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the B Team. We got Mikey Meatball down in Georgia, and we got Colin Muller right here sitting in your TV screen. We got another episode of the B Team. Going to be a good one today. I am flying solo, so for the Eagles fans that think I'm an idiot, this might not be for you. But that being said, the Birds do play tonight at 7:30 against the Bengals, first preseason game of the season. There's going to be a lot of excitement down there. The game's at the Link. It's going to be rocking. It always is. It's always a great atmosphere down in Philadelphia. So I'm sure that we have a lot of friends and listeners that are going to be at the game, so enjoy it tonight. Bengals are favored -5.5. I think that is going to happen. No offense.
Like, follow, subscribe, like, follow, subscribe, like, follow, subscribe. Back to the show.
No, let's get into it here. The storyline of the week, last week we had Micah Parsons versus Jerry Jones. It's still going. And honestly, I'm at the point where, you just got to look at both parties. You just got to lay down your weapons here and stop chatting up the media. I feel like all we do is talk. Jerry Jones just can't keep his mouth shut. And it comes back to haunt us every single year. We have a good team this year. Dak Prescott looks good. Joe Milton's it's being said that he might be the best quarterback some days at preseason. Down in Oxnard. Jerry Jones came out afterwards and let everyone know that he believes it's going to get done in Oxnard. The rumor is 4 years, $205 million, and $125 million guaranteed. It's just one of those things you got to get done. This is a team that's capable of winning a Super Bowl. They're capable of winning the division. They're capable of competing with a Birds team that is very, very good. The Birds, they got a great O-line. They got a great running back. They got a quarterback that's confident in himself. Corny as hell, but confident in himself. They got wide receivers, probably too many wide receivers. I know everyone's seen that graphic where Dak's cap hit's going to be $50 million, and you got Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, and Devonta Smith barely breaking through 25. But I think that's a little misleading, that graphic. We don't have to go into that. But I think the Cowboys are ready to compete with that. The defense, as long as we can stay healthy, I think the defense can compete with that team. It's about stopping Saquon, which I don't think many people are going to do this year, just as it happened last year. So really it's going to be, can you limit Saquon to maybe 80 yards a game? Because I said this last year on the show. If you can limit Saquon Barkley to 80 yards, that's a win. That's a win. Most running backs, I'd say, you're getting run through. Saquon Barkley getting 80 yards, that is an absolute win. So I think, Cowboys are fully capable of doing that. They did that last year. Yes, Saquon did only play half the game, I believe, but it is what it is. Still held them under, I believe it was even 60 yards. But if you don't have Micah Parsons, and this is what I'm getting at here, if you don't have a Micah Parsons on the team, on the field, who is going to be your guy on defense? I don't think we have a guy right now. Overshown's out. Micah Parsons, Jerry Jones came out and said that he doesn't expect him to play week 1. What the fuck kind of statement is that? Come on, Jerry. You got to be better than that. And, it's at some point, Jerry Jones has to say, maybe I'm the stubborn guy. Maybe I'm the one who is falling behind the times. With social media nowadays, these guys have a voice. They have a huge voice, and I'm happy they have a voice because now they can get what's theirs. But, Jerry Jones just never caught up with the times, and it shows. And Cowboys fans get clowned for it all the time. But the thing that most people don't see is that Cowboys fans actually hate the Joneses. It's a weird dynamic. A lot of Cowboys fans really do hate the Joneses, but we all know they'll never be gone. It's their football team. It's their prized possession. They're never going to be gone. So it is what it is. Micah Parsons is going to get signed by probably next. I said this Wednesday, but obviously I was wrong. So I'm going to say next Wednesday. I think he's signed by. I think he's been active in practices. He's been talking in practices. He's in uniform. He's just not practicing. And I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. He still wants to be a Cowboy. It's clear he wants to be a Cowboy, and I hope that this rumor is true. 4 years, $205 million, $125 million guaranteed. Let's get it done, Jerry. Come on, be a man, get it done. Last thing on this, just imagine being me. For all the listeners out there that are sitting there in their cars, driving, doing your morning commutes, week after week, just ripping into me on social, all of our posts. Imagine having to deal with Jerry Jones on a daily basis and what he's saying, and then at nighttime you flip it around and you're watching the Yankees and you got to put up with Aaron Boone. Yeah, that's my life. That's my life. I got two forward hat guys that are just absolutely abysmal at their job and have no clue what they're doing. It's a very brutal time for me. But we got Aaron Judge back, so hopefully that changes stuff. This sun is wicked right now. If you're listening, I'm sorry you don't see this, but if you're watching, this sun is wicked. I'm actually going to leave it. All right, let's move on here. So Micah Parsons getting signed, 4 years, $205 million, $125 million guaranteed, and that probably cements the Eagles into second place. All right. Before we get into the main topic of the day that I want to break down, I just want to talk about the golf league real quick. We have two teams confirmed. It is Mike and I, the B team, and we also have Shane and Petey. Welcome back to the league, guys. We played you guys probably one of our first matches. Great match. Go and watch it. It's up on our YouTube. It's from last year. We were at Southmore. 9-hole match. Mike and I ended up blowing it, but great match down the stretch. It was awesome. Great time. Always a good time with you guys. They actually helped us come up with this league. So obviously it makes sense if they wanted in, we were always going to give them a spot. So we have two teams confirmed, those two, and we're looking for two more. We already have, I think the submission list, the application list is at 22 teams, 22 pairs. So we got a lot to think about. We don't know how we're going to pick the teams. We might go to random draw. We've done that in the past, and, it sucks doing that, but it's also a great time because people do get upset that they don't get picked or, they always submit and they don't get – like, you can't be upset about it. I'm sorry, I said this last week. If you don't get picked, it's just like a jersey giveaway. You're just not in it. But I am really excited for this league. I think it's going to be a really cool event, especially going down to next year. We might expand it to 8, 10, 15 teams. Keep a table. It'll be a table just like Liv has. Points, wins equal 3 points, ties 1, 0 for loss, all that stuff. And it's just going to be head-to-head matchups. So we'll be starting to record these in early April, and, we'll be releasing them starting in May. And there'll be one every single week, and everyone can keep track of, who their team is. I think we're going to be getting the team shirts so that, people can go along with it. I'm not sure what we're going to do, if we'll allow them to make a logo, if we will go just by colors and it'll say beat that. I'm not really sure. Not really sure yet. So we got a lot to think about regarding the stupid stuff on the side. But the golf league itself, 2-man scramble, great format. You got to use both guys' shots every single hole. So you can't be bringing a stick and, they're running it, right? If you suck, people are going to see that, but they can also get behind you and cheer just like they do for Mike with the Breaking 100. So I'm really excited for the B Team Golf Invitational League that will be starting this year. 2 teams, we're going to give it another, obviously you have until the first week of the season, really, because we're going to be doing that the end of Music Fest. But yeah, very exciting times for us. Excited to get into the golf league realm. And we just love all the support that everyone's had with it. Love all the support that everyone's had with the show. So yeah, golf league, if you want in, now's the time. Let's get you in. All right.
Like, follow, subscribe, like, follow, subscribe, like, follow, subscribe. Back to the show.
In the past, if you look at history, every single draft has had at least one guy be a bust. There's always been one guy that's been a bust. And, I don't think that this next year is going to show us any exceptions to that. Last season, you had Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, Drake May, Bo Nix, J.J. McCarthy, and Michael Penix Jr. drafted. Joe Milton was also drafted, and that he's in Dallas now. He's playing phenomenal. But out of those 6 guys, the 6 big guys, right, there's always been one bust. And we're going to find the bust here. We have to find the bust. I mean, if we just go down the list, Jaden Daniels comes into Washington, handed that starting spot, handed the you have to change the program position. And I think it's an understatement to say that he did. I think it really is. I think he came in, he really changed what Washington was about. I think he changed what the expectations in Washington were. People were afraid of Washington last year. And I think there's something to be said about that. He's phenomenal. I mean, they have the issues with Scary Terry right now, but I don't see that being that big of an issue heading into the season. I think that they have a good enough team, and he is so dynamic in the way he plays that it's going to be hard for him to ever be a bust. I think he's going to have a great career. I think he's phenomenal. I'm pissed that he's on Washington. So Jaden Daniels, I'm going to take him right out of the picture. I mean, he already went to a conference championship. Okay, start the jokes. Yeah, Dak Prescott hasn't been to an NFC championship game. Yeah, we get it. We hear that every single year. Whoop-de-doo. But Jaden Daniels has made it there. He was a game away from being in a Super Bowl, choke job of a lifetime. But Jaden Daniels, he's here. He's a great quarterback. I mean, he's already in top 10 discussions in the league for that position category. Do I believe that? No. I'll say this till he really deserves it, I guess, because it won't be the day I die, because I do believe he'll be a top 10 quarterback at some point. I just don't think today's that day. I think he's definitely top 15. Top 15. I don't know. We can't be doing this where we put guys in the top 10 after one great season. It just doesn't make sense. They got to build on it. You look at Dak after he had a great first year, and then the next couple of years now it was just trending downward with people, what they thought about him, even though that's not true. But it's very similar to what Dak did his rookie year. All right, so let's keep moving down the list here. We got Drake May up in New England. I think that this one's a little too early for me to call. I think he is the guy. I don't think he'll be a bust. I think he has great traits on the field. I think with Vrabel up there, it'll kind of change his game for the better. New England's definitely going to be better this year with Vrabel. No doubt about it in my mind. Drake May, he showed what he could do in college. He showed what he can do last year. He did it for multiple games with a bad New England team. So if Vrabel can turn that organization around a bit and get them back on track, I think Drake May, there's nothing to worry about there. And then it's kind of a similar situation with J.J. McCarthy here. It's way too early to tell, being that he hasn't even played a real NFL game yet. Early signs are pointing that he could struggle a bit. There's been a lot of videos coming out of him struggling, a lot of reports that he's struggled in camp so far, but it really is his rookie year. We'll know if he's the guy or not after probably 8 to 9 games, once he really has his feet wet and, he should be producing. I think J.J. McCarthy can be good. I said it last year that I think he will be the best one of this class. I think he can take the Vikings to a division championship. I don't know how much farther he can go with that. But yeah, I'll make my call on J.J. McCarthy. I don't think he's going to be the bust in this class. And then Michael Penix Jr., same with Drake May, but a little better. Michael Penix Jr.'s got weapons. He's got Bijan Robinson. He's unlocking guys on offense. That left arm of his, he can drop it into a bucket. And I think that he has tendencies that could lead him to be almost like a Mike Vick down in Atlanta. And I'm not saying the bad side. Don't take this the wrong way. I know all you Eagles fans loved him when he was playing for you, throwing it to Deshaun Jackson. I think Michael Penix Jr. is going to be a great quarterback for Atlanta. I think that his left arm is going to be dropping balls in buckets. He's going to be running that division this year. He's going to have a little competition from the Panthers and Bryce Young, who turned out to be very good, which is something to be said about some of these guys. The Drake Mays, the J.J. McCarthys, and Michael Penix of this class, they might struggle their first year. There might be signs that, fans want them to be benched. But I don't think that's the correct play here. I think Michael Penix Jr. can be fantastic. I think J.J. can be fantastic. I think Drake May can be fantastic. And then we already know what Bo Nix can do. Bo Nix is probably going to be a top 10 quarterback after this season. He's going to be what Jaden Daniels is thought to be right now, because Jaden Daniels and that Washington team are going to drop out. Promise you that. I promise you that coming out of the NFC East, it's going to be Dallas and Philadelphia. Washington's going to struggle to get into the wild card. But Bo Nix and that Denver team are not going to struggle this year. I think they easily win a spot into the playoffs. This might even be the year that Kansas City doesn't win the division. I'm going to say it right now. I think that Bo Nix is good enough to get this Denver team in as the division winner in that side of the AFC. The Raiders they got better. The Chargers, we'll see. It's tough to tell. They could be great, but we do this every year. So I think that Bo Nix is 100% the best quarterback in this class. I think he's the best quarterback in this class. Maybe not the best football player all around, because Jalen Daniels has a lot of intangibles that, that Bo Nix doesn't possess, especially with the speed and ability to get out into the open field. But I think Bo Nix at the quarterback position solely is the best one in this class, and that brings us to Caleb Williams. Now, I said at the top of the show, there's one guy that's got to be a bust. Every class, one guy that's got to be a bust, and it sucks that it has to be him. But my God, every single day of preseason training camp, last year we're watching these games, and yeah, not every loss was on him, not every bad play was on him, but I think Caleb Williams is going to become a victim of the expectations here. I really do. He's not a bad quarterback. I struggle to say that he's going to be the one that's a bust, but Caleb Williams, the expectations were for you to come in here and be an absolute game changer. You were supposed to be what Jalen Daniels was last year. You were supposed to be doing what Bo Nix is doing in Denver. You were supposed to have this Chicago team, no matter how bad they were, it was expected for you to come in there and change everything. Change the culture, change the winning mentality, and change the amount of wins in the win column. And one thing that you didn't do was all of those three. All of those three. It's a very tough situation for him. It's going to be similar to what Shedeur Sanders is going to go through if he wins that starting job. There's going to be a lot of expectations, a lot of eyeballs on him. There always will be, especially because of Deion and that whole family and everything they did at Colorado. And, now he's sitting there as the fourth string up at Cleveland. And who knows? He's starting in the first preseason game. So we'll see how he does. But back to Caleb Williams here. I think Caleb, the expectations can be so high for some of these guys coming out of college when in reality they're just kids. And we've seen it before where guys are definitely busts. They come into the league and you could tell right away, this guy doesn't have it. Absolutely not. Caleb Williams, he's not a bust in that sense. He's a bust because of the expectations that were put upon him. And it sucks for him. But out of these six guys, he's probably the one that's going to, when we look back on this, he's probably the one that's going to be, he didn't live up to the expectations. He didn't produce what he was supposed to. No matter how J.J. McCarthy can come into this league and he can do nothing. He might, win a few divisions, probably won't win a Super Bowl, probably won't go to a conference championship game. But Caleb Williams, who knows if he'll even win a division? The Bears, they just haven't been able to produce a good team for so long, and that's not on him. And so it's very tough for me to say this, but I think Caleb Williams, when we look back on this, is going to be the bust of this draft. With that being said, quick show today, flying solo. It's tough solo. I don't know how Colin Cowherd does it, to be honest with you, but we wanted to make sure we got something out for you guys. So obviously, since it was just me, I think all the heat's going to come on to me. So Eagles fans, let me have it. Caleb Williams fans, definitely let me have it. I want to hear your guys' thoughts, though, on that. Those six guys. And, I'm taking out Spencer Rattler and Joe Milton. Those guys, come on. Spencer Rattler, they don't count. No one had any expectation. They shouldn't have even been drafted, let's be honest. But those six guys, who do you think's the bust there? Honestly, who do you think the bust is and why? And who do you think the best is? Because right now I would put Bo Nix at the top and Caleb at the bottom. And that's unfortunate for Caleb, like I said, because I don't think he's the worst quarterback there. But I think for the expectations, he is the bust. So let me know what you guys think. Other than that, have a good day. Enjoy it. Let's watch some football. We're back, baby. We're back. Peace.